Well, hello to you. It's Scott Pickens, CEO and founder of Wealth Migrate, and I wanted to bring you this weekly wealth insight. You know, today is Workers' Day, and as you can see, I've got a beautiful fire here behind me, and we're relaxing. And what I wanted to talk about this weekly wealth insight was character. Because one of the things that's most interesting to me is that a lot of people, we live in a world where no one trusts anyone anymore. We're going online, you know, and more people are getting exposed in terms of who their character is. And ultimately, your character is what's going to determine long-term whether you succeed or fail. Because, you know, people don't judge you by how you behave when it's working. They judge you by how you behave when it's not working. And whether you're authentic and people can see through, you know, whether you're being authentic, whether you're telling the truth or whether you're not, is becoming more and more important in terms of where the world is going. And people resonate with authenticity. They resonate with people being real, telling the good and the bad. And what's really important in terms of where the world's going is that you've got your digital reputation now that'll never leave you. And so your character, your values, you know, your digital reputation, they follow you. And so what's critically important as both companies and individuals is you need to agree what are your values and what will you stand by and what will you be known for and what are non-negotiable to you in terms of actually your life and the way you behave. And sometimes you've got to make very difficult decisions, which some people might say are the wrong decisions in the short term. Because most people in the short term, you know, the old school way of doing business, the old power, old model way of doing business is profit before people. And it's about individuals wanting to look after themselves and to make as quick a profit as possible. They might discount the shares. They might, you know, sack a whole bunch of people because it's just a quick way to make money. They might buy and sell a company. And what's really important is that it's about the long term. You know, Jeff Bezos talks about it being missionaries or mercenaries. Business has a bad rap because most people are trying to be mercenaries. They're just trying to make a quick buck. It's all about them. How can they make the fastest return? You know, I always use Donald Trump as the character. He actually said that it's never win-win. It's how can he win and the other person lose? And that's a classic old school mentality, which is it's all mercenary. It's I win, you lose. It's all about the profit I make. How many fees can I make? You know, what are you prepared to pay and I'll make the rest? And that's just such an old school way of thinking because mercenaries are dying. Okay, and what's happening with coronavirus and global social changes is that with the whole digital revolution, they're being exposed. And it's much more now about missionaries and people that are on a life's journey. They're on a purpose. They run a purposeful company. They live by their values. And it's not about profit only, but about people and about purpose. And that is a really interesting thing because we're here on Workers' Day. And why was Workers' Day formed to start off with in the first place? Well, because the barons and the very wealthy were screwing the workers. And you know, then they came up with trade unions and everything else to protect the workers and the workers' rights. Now, in my opinion, they've gone way too far on the other side. But the bottom line is it should be about a win-win scenario. And the world is changing. You know, the world was about scarcity thinking. It was I win, you lose, you know, I make a profit, you lose, etc. I charge as many fees hidden and you don't even know about it, you know, etc., etc. I'll use financial lingo you don't understand, you know, blah, 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 blah. Whereas I believe the world's changing to abundance thinking. And as the world is changing, your character is going to be spotlighted because there's complete transparency. And the more you build that transparency, the more you build trust. And that will build your digital reputation and ultimately that will give you value long term. But there's no way, in my opinion, to really build a successful long-term career if you've got a mercenary approach. And if you lose trust, that's one of the worst things you can do. And so it's about being a missionary. It's about understanding your values. It's about being very clear on your purpose and then making it happen. And so that's my weekly wealth insight. I hope you enjoyed the beautiful fire here on Workers' Day. And yeah, if you do subscribe to the channel, we try and bring you these weekly wealth insights every week. This was a bit of a lightened one on a public holiday. And yeah, we want to empower 1 billion people. We cannot do it on our own. The only way to do it is to share the knowledge, share the inspiration, and to inspire people. And so, you know, share it with your friends, please, if you think this is valuable. Otherwise, have an awesome Workers' Day, a great week, and we'll see you next week. And I'm going to go back to enjoying my wonderful fire. Cheers.